Live from WFSB, Connecticut's first choice for news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 5:30.
We begin tonight at 5:30 with an update to a story you first saw at 3. A vital piece of police equipment for Hartford officers is fixed one day after an Eyewitness News report.
Some officers say for the past week their radios have gone silent, and that's left them disconnected from other officers and from their dispatchers. And Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Jamie Roth's going to show us how this put them and you at risk.
Hartford police patrolling the city this past week, listening to their radios as they must, are often hearing nothing.
Are you all set? All right, unable to copy 19. Can you use the car radio?
You hear the dispatcher over at headquarters talking to the officer, but you don't hear the officer's response. You're only getting half of the story, and that's all they're getting. The radio is their lifeline, and it's going dead, leaving major holes in communication that the chief admits need fixing. We listened to the radio ourselves, and we heard stretches of silences. Are you worried?
I'm concerned. I'm strongly concerned, but I also think that we're going to address it and get it corrected.
The chief points out that the 911 phone system is fine and that police have not missed any calls for service. But officers tell us the technical radio problems are making an already dangerous job much more so.
If the officers aren't safe, then the civilians aren't safe either.
Marie Lausch is with the union that represents dispatchers statewide, and she works as a dispatcher herself in New Britain. She says if police can't hear, they can't help.
We had a case here in New Britain where a gentleman had said he was going to shoot himself with a gun. He was in his house in a part of town that we know the communications are bad. And when the officers were trying to talk to us and talk to each other, we couldn't hear them. This puts not only the officer's life in jeopardy, but also the safety of the people around.
In Hartford, police know they're missing critical information. A few nights ago, officers chased 2 men after a home invasion, and the men started shooting. Dispatchers sent help, but police say many officers working that night had no idea that 2 of their own were shot at.
Right now, no officers gotten hurt thus far, and there's been just a little bit of disruption, but not enough to the point where I think an officer's going to get hurt.
What specifically is being done to fix the problem?
Right now, we have 2 technicians in who have been working around the clock.
Lausch's union wants to start a statewide task force to discuss the outdated and inadequate radio systems that they've found cause problems in many towns and cities. The breakdown in communication invites danger.
You don't want it to happen when a burglar's breaking in your back door and the police officer that's being sent can't hear the dispatcher tell him where to go.
Jamie Roth, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
New information now in the case of a man accused of stabbing his neighbor. Lawyers for the suspect, Jonathan Eddington, are planning to plead insanity. The Fairfield lawyer is accused of stabbing Barry James last year after his wife allegedly told him that the neighbor had molested their 2-year-old daughter. Investigators say they found no evidence that James had molested the girl.
Now let's get a first look at the weather tonight at 5:30. It's a warm and sunny day outside, as you can see in our New London City camp. For a look at how warm it got despite the rain earlier, here's Mark Dixon. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Denise, it was quite pleasant this afternoon across the state, but actually we started the day on a fairly pleasant note as well. Statewide on our Sleepy's Pinpoint WeatherNet, temperatures to start this morning were in the mid and upper 40s. By the afternoon, we warmed into the mid to upper 60s, and typically for this time of year, based on a 30-year average, normally the high temperature should be right on 67. So basically right on target for what we expect for the very early part of May. We'll talk about a couple of swings in temperatures, talking about going down to the 30s, but then possibly rebounding as high as the mid and upper 70s. That's ahead in the early warning forecast.
Thank you, Mark. The lights are back on at East Hartford School, I should say. A burnout fuse cut power to a large part of Goodwin Elementary School on Forbes Street this morning. Classes had to be moved to where there was electricity while CLNP crews repaired the problem. The lights were back on around noontime.
Off the coast of Nantucket, a mighty wind and a local power producer is trying to harness that wind to create electricity.
The company's proposed building a giant windmill farm out in Nantucket Sound.
On the surface, this sounds like just the answer to reducing this problem of global warming we've heard so much about, but it is stirring controversy.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Drew Levinson has the story.
Out on Nantucket Sound, there's energy blowing in the wind.
So this is gathering wind speed, wind direction.
Power producer Cape Wind hopes to build America